Okay, I have to make a video about this. My hair looks a mess. I know, whatever. I don't actually care. No, okay, I do care. Um, I have just watched an IO video about 100 days in, I don't know, the Beast, who I've never heard of, never seen. And yeah, I don't believe that he's the most watched person on Instagram or anything. Um, but that story talked about keeping someone in a basement for 100 days. And there was one vision that I had of being Big Brother, which was in an ugly, horrible blue room. That was one vision that I had, and I didn't really understand that vision because that room didn't look. It looked horrible. I'm not saying that it will happen because none of my visions seem to happen, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, this is something that I wouldn't actually want to happen. So that's a little bit funny. But yeah. In I've realised that between I've realised that between Christmas Day and April 3rd is exactly 100 days, and that's not a coincidence. And therefore, I don't know. I'm trying to think about the timeline and what's going to happen. I'm really pissed off that nothing happened at 8 o'clock. So obviously, you're not following my lead because that song that I posted said pick me up at 8 a.m. and it's gone past 8 o'clock and you haven't come and you haven't called me and I still know nothing. And I have a bad feeling that it might just be people showing up my door with cameras. I don't really want that because that would be, I don't know. I haven't tidied the house. Like I need there's like dirty dishes in the wash. It will take me about an hour to pack and about 3 hours to clean the dirty stuff in the kitchen. So I need more than an hour unless you can send a cleaner or something because I don't want to leave dirty dishes in the sink or whatever. I don't really go in the kitchen that much, therefore it can end up being quite messy sometimes. And I've also got fish that I need to put somewhere or something. And I've got a hamster and I've got some cactus. I've got a big cactus over there that a client gave me. It was tiny and now it's really big. I don't know what I'll do with that because that isn't going to America. I'll probably give that to some national trust or some garden place that wants it, somewhere with a greenhouse. And I've got a banana tree, and but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like I'm going to be gone for a long time, so I don't want to just be taken away like and then just be like, well, what's happening with my stuff? Um, so yeah, but I don't know. But I feel like something needs to happen now because it's there needs to be a time where people actually have a chance of seeing the truth about what might happen. I'm not going to say much. I know that. I do not trust Big Brother, and I feel like the reason why people have ignored me for so long is because my higher self has so little trust in you that she knew that if I would have been around you, I would have been too much influenced by you, and I probably would have just believed whatever you told me to believe. So I probably wouldn't have. I mean, maybe that's the reason. That's the only thing that I can possibly explain as to why you've ignored me for this long. Because I'm pretty sure I could have done all of this, everything that I've done. I could have done this whilst in a nice house. And because I haven't had that nice house, I know that as soon as you give me that nice house, I'm not going to be interested in talking to you at all because I'm going to be appreciating the nice house and I'm not going to be interested in telling you nothing because you didn't tell me anything. So, that's where we're at. And I don't know why you've ignored me for this long because it's almost like you never trusted me to be able to say stuff. And therefore, the only way you're going to trust anything that I say is if I'm in isolation at the time I'm saying it. That's how it feels. And if that is the case, then you are sicker than you even know, because technically, whether I'm saying this in isolation or if I'm saying this in a happy house or having a nice life or having a better existence, surely it's about me being alive and not me being fucking pissed off with you and having to say things whilst knowing absolutely nothing. You don't know how hard this is. It's like that girl with the delusion that I was talking about. If I told her there was something RIP of Trigger, I don't even know if that person's a real person. I don't know if he's living or not. But if I told her that she might have a lot more strength than Grimes because she was actually that guy who said I RIP on it, she's going to spend her whole life thinking about, was that me? Did I want to be like that? Do I like being like you? She's going to have so many questions in her head about whether she wanted to be that, if that person even existed, I don't know. But to be in, if you tell yourself something, you don't necessarily believe it. But if you tell other people that, and other people know you're God, they might believe you. But if you're telling yourself this and you're getting confused, I'm hearing voices in my head, yeah, but my voices just sound like me. They don't sound like something else. It sounds like me talking to me, and therefore it's hard. And because me also lies to me, and I get things wrong, I think. See, I think I don't even know if I get things right or not, because no one's telling me anything. So it's like, am I getting things wrong, or am I getting things, because everything that I get wrong, I seem to, like I forgot about that Todd Rick, still don't know his name, but I have forgotten so many things in the entertainment industry, because entertainment industry is just so big, and I hate it because of everything, but I love it because of everything. So it's just like, ugh, whatever. But yeah, I feel like I make mistakes, but I feel like sometimes those mistakes are for a purpose, like I keep making a mistake when posting on these things. Like I type and I feel like, yes, it's right, I don't need to look. I mean, sometimes I even do look. Every time I post these things, I do look to make sure there's no spelling mistakes, and I post it only when I'm convinced that it's right. And it's like weird, because as soon as I post it, it's like my eyes suddenly open and I start seeing all the lots of mistakes in it, and it's just like, it's like, why can't I just post first time and get it right? And then I'm just thinking, well, maybe it's just an indication of how the Bible is wrong, and you shouldn't be listening to that. And I don't know how the Bible was formed, but through channeling, I guess, people wanting to believe what they want versus what's the truth. And that's how I feel, it was wanting to believe what's the truth versus what might be the truth. And I can't see the future, and it's just very complicated. But yeah, like even when I first saw that Barbie one, I didn't even recognize him as the one that did that thing, um that demon, the devil one, the one where he's like looking like he's having an orgy with the devil. I loved that video. It was very entertaining. But yeah, I when I saw the Barbie one, I was like, nah, he's not an angel. And I actually took him off the first list and put him into the singer list, and then I was just like, no, actually he is. And then it's like, oh, completely forgot about him. And then it's like, well, why didn't I post this before? And it's just like, oh, well, if I'm channeling lots of negative energy, I don't want to be putting negative energy into the entertainment industry. Why? Because I think they're getting plenty of negative energy, so I don't need to give them any more extra. I don't know. It's very complicated and very confusing, and I just wanted to say that. But I'm pissed off as to why you still haven't contacted me. And yes, the beast technically is me, but you could also see it as being the music industry and the film industry, and actually you could see it as the people. I'm pretty sure the gladiator thing, it's turning people's pain into entertainment, and yet maybe subconsciously they knew that that's what they needed to do to Christ, to God, and they're just kind of reflecting. I just hope I don't have to do this every time. Like this timeline has been really, really, really bad, and the thought that it's going to be just get worse each time. I feel like with age, your soul becomes bigger, your memory becomes bigger, your abilities become bigger, and I'm pretty sure a lot of this conversation I'm having on Facebook is actually a similar conversation I've had. I think at the first few timelines that I would have done. The gap would have been far smaller. There would have been less souls on the sun that I would have been working on, and I would have started building up conversations. This song belongs to that, and then you say this and in between, and I feel like just over time, I've got a bigger collection of songs. Whether the songs were necessarily all songs that came from my timelines, or if there are songs that have been taken from other timelines. I think that's also a possibility, because I never knew anything about the sisterhood, but my view on the sisterhood now is just like a collection of really powerful, really, and it reminded me of a song, the high school. There's a song I did, high school. Life's a game, I'll make the rules, stay the town to know school. I don't know, but I did that with memory of just having like a collection of really like super hot friends. And it's really weird because I've never had that. And so, but it feels like at one stage, at one point in my life, I did. And therefore, not having that doesn't actually mean that much to me. Why? Because part of me feels like I've had that for so long, just not here. And and yeah, I feel like that kind of is the kind of people that, that are the sisterhood. You might get the sort of the gods that are more like Nelly Furtado. Furtado, I can't say her name. Furtado. I didn't mean to say that. Um, but yeah, they, there's lots of different types that anyone can be a god, but I feel like you have to have love for entertainment and film and that, because otherwise you lose your interest. I think I said that, my mum didn't like the film industry as much. She was more a book person, but that Tayo song, showed a more sexier side of my mum. Yeah, and she did have that, I bet. I know she did have that side, but it wasn't quite as strong as my love for films. And I think she had a much stronger love for books. But then I think it was such a long time ago that I feel like the planets, or the overall number of collection of songs and the stuff that we've all done, it wasn't as great when I was born. Just like in this age, if you're 70, think about what the world was like 70 years ago. It was very, very different. And I feel like a similar thing has happened with the galaxies. Maybe not quite as extreme, because you know I'm old, but the universe is very, very old. So um but um but yeah, I am very, very, very old, but the universe is a lot older than me. I don't really know the answer. But yeah, I don't really believe the humans try to Big Bang Theory. That makes it sound so unreal. I would say that sounds unreal. I feel like the Big Bang is more just about sex, but um, yeah, things grow over time and they just get bigger and bigger. And the more people or the more souls that are doing this, what I'm doing here, that the bigger it gets. And then you kind of get tied down, because I'm thinking it's horrible to think that my mom killed herself after the seven, the sixth son that I was, so when I was six. And if it was a third one that she was doing, then I'm guessing she was nine sons. She only lived for nine sons, which is a very long time. I think a lot of gods don't even make it to one. So to do nine, that would have been quite impressive for her. Um, and she thought it was her time, but yeah, it's like sad, because I feel like it's like really, really young, but it's probably not very young in the god world. But it's young compared to me, and it does make me think, well, if you go on to live 70 and say I kill myself after this one, I think that's quite sad for you to spend the next, for eternity, your whole eternity, until you decide to just give up and say I don't want this any longer. um, you know, it's kind of sad to think that, I might die after one, or this one, and then you spend the rest of eternity knowing that, I don't know. I think life is generally quite sad, but I feel like if you have love, okay, not for humans, but for something, that is what lasts forever. And yeah, you can hate something, but if it's the reason why you're alive or continuing living, then you can't really hate it that much.